Good morning, everybody. How's it going out there in live YouTube land? We are finally back live once again. Me and Greg. How you doing this morning, buddy?
I'm well. I'm feeling good. I'm doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing really good.
Coffee? I got ice water.
I do.
Ice water.
I do. Oh man, got your Red Sox cup going on.
Boston.
I am so glad to be back live again. As a matter of fact, earlier this week, my wife was like, "Hey, you want to take the kids down to Wakulla Springs on Saturday?" And I'm like, "We sure can, as long as it's after 11."
Right, right. Yeah, I did the same.
I'm not doing pre-recorded again. Like we've done it 3 weeks in a row, and we owe the people a live episode.
That's right. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to pre-record because you have it, but I like the interaction. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. We already have a couple of people in the
welcome, friends.
Let's see. We've got V-Dog watching already. Good morning. I always feel double jointed with you guys. Oh, look here. We got our buddy TSJ.
My man. Just talking about you last night.
And Trevor McGuire. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, everybody.
Thank you guys for waking up and being here. Appreciate it.
Oh, he says floating the river after this. Yeah. I don't know if he's floating the river or if we're floating the river, but somebody's going to be on a river.
That's a Midwest thing, man. You got to do some floating.
Man, we have a really nice place to float a river about an hour east of us called Itchitutney, and it's about an 8-mile river. If you want to get on and do the whole thing, you have to get there at like 6 or 7 in the morning because they have a certain number of people they'll let on the river. And then if you get there after that and it gets too packed, you have to get on at the midway point and you float. And it is amazing. It's something that Pamela and I have done many times.
How long is it?
I think it's about, so if you do the whole thing, I think it's like 4 hours.
Yeah.
If you do the half, it's like two and a half, something
about
like
4
that.
hours is good. You know, have some drinks. Got some music, maybe a sandwich.
It's so good.
Relax. It's wonderful.
It's so good. And the cool thing is that even if it starts storming, which, you know, every 20 minutes in Florida, it does, you can't get off the river. You just have to suck it up.
Ride it out.
Lightning, thunder, it doesn't matter. Like
lightning, nah.
You're stuck.
Electricity and water, nah. No worries. No problem.
Let's see. Trevor says, I'm out in Western Washington. Oh, wow. Okay.
Washington, nice. Yeah, I've been to Seattle and Tacoma and all that. I'm from California.
All right. You want to take this one, Greg? V-Dog says, I've seen your post on Ragnar's fan club. What's this all about?
I taped a show last night, the New to Mythics. We did a show about scaling, which was kind of inspired by you, Charlie, V-Dog. Just an informational video about the different scales and mythic sizes and stuff, and I was looking at Ragna while we were talking about the different scales and had noticed that Ragna was a 2.0 dwarf female, and I was just looking at her, and she's unique in that sense, in that she's the only 2.0 female dwarf. But I was just looking at her and I was like, you know what, this is a beautiful figure. And my man Mark got her in the table last year, the lucky bastard. And I did a review, and I had wanted her after that. I had that, you know, your brother's got one, now you want one. So I was lucky enough to get one, and then a friend gifted me one. And so I was just looking at her last night, and I'm like, you know what, I'm Ragnar fan club. So
and it goes back a little bit because I believe that Jeremy once talked about how people didn't really like Ragnar when she came out. She was kind of dismissed and slept on.
Conversation about it.
Yeah, and how
the colors.
A lot of people just didn't really care for her, and she didn't sell very well. And
let me grab her.
Yeah, grab her real quick. And he was just basically saying how like a lot of people just kind of slept on her, didn't really care about her very much. And I always wanted her. Like when I got back into the line, I was like, I've got to get her. Like she's killer.
Yeah.
Because she's the only female dwarf we have at this point.
Yeah. I wish she came with a human head sculpt, but I think with that dwarf 2-pack, she will have a head then.
You do have to be careful with the fur because it's that old style that they use where it
I don't know
will
what it
just
is.
fall out.
Yeah, it's like fluffing off as
Yeah,
I'm
it's very
holding her.
brittle,
She's
very
gonna
fragile.
watch the show from the sideline.
Heck yeah.
But if you have a Ragna, join the club, man. If you don't, you can still join the club. And if you hate
Yeah.
her, you can still join the club.
It's like we don't really care.
No.
Terrence says he's on his way to work, but it's always a better drive when he gets to listen to us. That's really
Terrence?
awesome. Trevor
Terrence,
says
I'm gonna
his
hit you up
sandwiches are
later.
already packed.
Oh yeah, what do we got on there? What kind of sandwiches we got, man? Let us
Send us
know.
some.
Terrence, I'm gonna be messaging you later. I want to talk to you.
Terrence says guys on Off World prior to the mystery boxes were saying they did not like her. Yeah, it seems to be. But he also says he wants one, and Trevor says that figure's awesome, and they are.
She is awesome. She is.
She's great.
The colors are very unique. That kind of electric teal blue is very unique. I think to the line. I don't know. She's cool. She's
very cool.
Yeah.
She's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and get into before we do our pickups, I wanted to get your opinion because this back wall is getting ready to be completely redone. I'm going to be pulling these shelves down, pulling my lights down, and I'm going to be painting the office as I refer to it as Saturday Morning Toy Collector HQ. And I'm going to be painting it, and I'm going to be putting up some wall-to-wall shelves from floor to ceiling, side to side, because I have too many figures and not enough space. So here are my 3 current choices. And I posted these on both YouTube and Instagram.
I saw that.
So we have Virtual Violet. We have, what is this one called? Just a Fairy Tale. And then we have Chakra. So Purple Gang, shout out Purple Gang.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of feel like I'm the original Purple Gang member because I've been rocking purple since, a couple of years now, but it's okay. So what's your choice?
My first thought was that dark purple, but the chakra just keeps catching my eye.
Yeah.
There's something cool about it. Which one are you leaning towards?
I'm leaning between these two. The same two. I could go brighter, but I could go darker. I'm probably going to end up going with this one. This is probably the Virtual Violet. I like how it says virtual on there. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so HQ is going to be getting an upgrade. Hopefully I'll start on that soon, and hopefully we'll have it finished up because it's time to. I've upgraded my background this week, if anybody noticed in my latest review, and I'm going to be upgrading the walls.
Look at you, man. You're
taking it to the next level.
Man on the go. You're changing things up, and hopefully you don't change up your co-host.
Oh no!
Might be a new guy next week, guys. You never know.
No.
Thank you, man.
Once we met, I was like, no, this has got to happen. So let's get into it. Let's get into our weekly. Dude, I got to tell you, it's been a slow week, but it's been a good one.
I like that. Slow and good. That's the way to do it.
Banger for you. I got a banger that I've been sitting.
Got a banger, guys, and I don't even know if I know about it.
You don't know about it.
Are you going to start off strong? Or are you going to?
No, I gotta save it to the end because I think it's going to steal the show.
I got a minor banger too. So.
So all right, we'll both end on our.
May not be banger for anybody else.
All right, let's start off. What you got this week?
Oh, okay. I got a Toy Forge cape and tabard for Dorina. I mean, you could put it for any, but they showed it for Dorina, and I'm going to put that on her today. I'm going to slap it on her today. And
now, who is Dorina? Why do I not? How do I not know this name?
She is the Tila tribute. She's white. She's got a gold helmet, and she comes with the elf helmet head and a kind of a Viking lady.
Now, not Tila, but you mean She-Ra.
She-Ra, sorry.
She-Ra
tribute.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Got you.
She-Ra tribute. I apologize. I always do that. But yeah, I'm gonna and I love that figure. If you don't have her, pick her up. She's very affordable. And
Oh yeah,
just
I
a
see
cool
her
figure.
quite a bit.
I don't see mine. I have one somewhere. I don't see
That's
her.
okay.
But
Check
yeah,
this
that's my
out.
first
Trevor
pickup.
says
Got that from Amazon.
American sub on everything bread and Italian French bread. Got to be fancy hillbilly floating down the river.
That sounds like a pre-made Walmart sub. Is that what that is, Trevor?
Ooh, I
You let
don't
me know
know,
in the
man.
comments, man. That sounds
Here in
like a
Florida,
Walmart.
we live on pub subs, man. Publix subs here in Florida. Lord,
Can't go
man.
wrong with that. Yeah, I've
Dude.
heard about them Publix subs. I had a friend that's from Florida, and he wanted to drive back and get some subs and bring them back. I said, "You do that, sir. You come from South Dakota to Florida and bring them."
Terrence
Chakra.
says
Good choice,
chakra.
Terrence.
I love it. And then Trevor says that violet would make a cool space theme. Yeah, we're down.
Yeah, for
oh
sure.
yeah. Figures will pop against it.
Yeah, that's what I think so too.
I like your screen display. It's like watching a movie. Yeah, it is. She-Ra tribute. Yeah.
Yeah, I always say Tila. I don't know why I do that. So thank you for correcting
Oh, my
me on
man
that.
Trevor said Safeway.
Safeway.
So there we
Sorry,
go.
man. Yeah, you're upscale. He got Safeway. He didn't go to Walmart. He's like, I'm going to Safeway.
Oh, so yeah. Terrence knows what's up because I was gonna say my favorite sub is the chicken tenders sub. So let me tell you what happens when you go to Publix and you say I want a chicken tender sub. They will pull out this loaf of bread and they will cut it, or like this bun, huge bun, and then they will go over to the hot deli part and they will bring back about 73 chicken tenders. They chop these things up and they just pile it high. It is enough meat for like 4 people. Like
that sounds amazing.
It's the biggest, and then you throw some cheese and lettuce on top of it. Boy, it's so good.
So it's not Subway where they measure, like I went to Subway yesterday and he was counting the turkey slices. He was and the cheese, and I'm like, come on, man, make the sandwich like you would eat it. I know when you're on break, you're loading the meat on. Come on, I'll give you a tip.
There is so much chicken tender on there. Like you can rake half of it off and then feed the rest of your family.
So as it's falling out of you have a whole nother sandwich as the meat's
when
falling
you're
out
done, you just got a wrapper full of chicken tender bits, dude. Like
yeah,
it's incredible,
amazing.
All right, my first pickup of the week is I kind of got all these together, and shout out to my local Facebook group, my local toy hunters that were on the ball and helped me pick these up. So first off, I was able to score a Silence of the Lambs figure from NECA.
It's a sweet box.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah,
got that jail background.
Is he articulated or no?
He is like it looks like the feet move and maybe the arms and maybe the head rotate because there are a couple of different heads, but for the most part, the arms do not articulate at the shoulder, the knees don't bend, and I don't know this to be true, but I've always heard that they won't license Silence of the Lambs for action figures because they don't feel like kids should be playing with serial killers. But I've always heard that anytime that it's been released, it's more of a staction. But maybe that's a very specific to the Silence of the Lambs thing because, NECA makes their bread and butter on horror figures that are like
Scream and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So my next, I've got like 4 more.
Let's do it. Hit them up, man.
Okay.
Nobody's in a hurry here.
I got a platinum Batgirl.
Friend of mine here in town got one of those.
They just sent me an email and was like, hey, you want one or you want to be in the drawing? And I'm like, okay. And then I was in the drawing and the next day they're like, okay, you got one. So I don't know if I feel special or what.
You win the right to give us money.
Yes. But I like her. She's got a saucy little, I like her face. She's got that don't give me no shit face.
Yeah, I ordered the previous Batman 66 Batgirl from Amazon, and I wanted the gray version, and they sent me the black version or something like that. Not that one; it was the earlier release. And I sent it back. I was like, I don't want it, and I sent it back, and I ordered another one. They sent me the black one again. I'm like, do you guys not have the gray one? Like,
I don't know if I have that one. I would love for them to do. They did Batgirl, didn't they? The 66 one.
Yeah, so the first one, they did one that was purple, if I'm not mistaken, and then they did a second. I think this might be the third one they've put out.
Yeah. What else you got, man? You're up,
So
buddy.
also from Walmart, I had a buddy of mine pick these up. I am so into these like little Ben Cooper Halloween
Yes, I
figures.
need those, dude. Yeah, me and Eric were talking about those.
I love
I
these
want the
because when I
little
was a kid, this is
monster.
exactly what I dressed up as. My mom would get me these little boxes and these plastic masks you'd put on
What a
and be like
blast,
super
dude.
sweaty.
Yeah,
Couldn't
they're
see,
only good
couldn't
for
breathe.
one night, though. They're only good
Yeah.
for one night, man. They
Oh,
would
yeah.
tear, especially if you're a husky kid like me. Those
Same.
things would
You
rip.
wear them once and you wear them out.
It was like sausage casing.
So this is really cool. So like 5 of these are already like in a 5-pack that are up on Big Bad Toy Store, but they're sold out currently. You can't really get them. The pre-order is sold out. And then the new ones are like this little vampire girl, this version 2 devil, and then this little phantom. Those are the next
Those are
3 that
super
I'm
cool.
hoping to find. But the masks don't come off, but they do have little eyes underneath. So it is basically like a kid, and the little outfits are like plastic. And then he comes with a little jack-o'-lantern box, like tote, like get his candy in, and then this one comes with a brown bag in the back.
I love the
And,
boxing, but I would like to open them too.
Oh yeah, the boxes are great, but I'm definitely going to open these. And they are NECA and they are 8-inch scale. So if you were to buy, like, let's say like their 8-inch cloth Michael Myers, this would fit in with that. But yeah, these are not going to scale well with like your 6-inch figures. These aren't going to scale. But I love Halloween's my favorite holiday of the year.
Me too,
So
man.
I love anything Halloween. Halloween was it's always been my favorite holiday. And Halloween night as a kid. Oh yeah, that's right. Because you have we have a lot of October birthdays. My daughter's October 16th. My oldest son's October 29th. He was almost born on Halloween, which is pretty cool.
That would have been awesome.
All right, what else you got?
So I went to Tardy's. That's my buddy Gavin. He's got a few comic shops in the Grand Rapids area, and I got a couple of things. I got this AWOC guy. He was kind of catching my eye. I'm kind of slowly easing into this line. I'm not going.
Same.
I just enjoy it. It's not replacing Mythic or anything like that. They're just a fun figure. They articulate really well. I've got them within grabbing distance, just because they're fun to play with and pose and mess around with. So yeah, I picked this guy up to add to my ever-growing collection. I think I've got about 5 or 6 now. So yeah,
very cool. Well, I can give you guys a scoop. Greg already knows about this, but a little scoop here. I wish I had a scoop graphic, but I don't. But a little scoop is that if you guys are familiar with the new online retailer, Articulated Empire, I think they kind of grew out of Articulated Times or something that was on Instagram. I followed them.
I think
a
so.
lot.
Yeah.
They kind of grew out of that, but now they have an online shop where they are like an official, like I think they're an official like Four Horsemen retailer. They sell the AWOC, they sell Savage Crucible. So all your popular like third party like lines that are out and popular right now. I was able to reach out to them and we worked out a deal to where they're going to be a sponsor of the channel. And so you guys are going to start seeing sponsored reviews when they send me stuff. And they currently have a package out that I should get Monday. And it's got a couple of AWOC. It's going to be my very first AWOC figures. And so I'm definitely going to be reviewing them. And then over the weekend, Sparrow Toys had a 4th of July sale and I picked up one. I picked up one that really caught my attention. I think his name is Lexion. He's kind of like this gray feral cat that's got orange and brown armor.
Yes.
The armor.
I think I ordered that one too. I already got shipping. Good. I already got shipping.
Yeah. They must have been working through the 4th. So Terrence says, the Sparrow team is great. Yeah, I got to meet them at Joe Fest, and I picked up a weapons pack just because I was like, hey, these weapons look like they would work with like, Mythic Legions or Savage Crucible. I did not know that, just a couple weeks later, I'd be getting my first. Lexion is awesome.
Super cool. Super great.
So I'm going to be getting my first ones.
Articulated Empire is a great little company. Like they ship
They are.
lightning quick, and they wrap everything meticulously. So
Yeah,
I'm a
they're
fan
very well
of that
packaged.
company for sure. I buy all my AWOCs usually either from them or from Sparrow. So
Yeah.
good company.
So do you have any more you want to end on your banger?
I've got sure.
Yeah, show us all that you got. I'll go last.
Well,
I've only got one thing left.
I was walking out of Tardy's, and he had this guy opened and kind of posed, and I'm like, why is he there for? And he's like, I just wanted to attract people to buy these, and I'm like, it worked. I'll take them, and I think I have one. I just was so attracted to it. I wanted to showcase this figure really quick. I had bought her off a Big Bad Toy Store, and I don't know the comic. I don't know what it's about, but I just thought it's a super cool looking figure. I'm all about the female figures.
Yeah,
but she's got a
who
cool.
Is that? Scroll down. Let's see the top
Heather
art.
Swain. And here's the
from?
Cyber Frog Wave 1. I know.
I have no idea what this is.
It was kind of like, you know, a Big Bad Toy Store, they show you stuff. And I was like, this figure is super cool. And I saw a review on it, and I guess she's very popular because she was gone. Like, there's 3 different versions, and all 3 sold out like right away. So I was lucky enough to get her, and I'm gonna have to open her. But here's my banger. Backstory, real quick. When I was a kid, I was reading a fantasy series called Elric, and was always a huge fan. It's like my favorite. It's been around since the 60s. The guy was kind of inspired by Conan, but the character is like the complete opposite of Conan. He's kind of like a weakened albino emperor that rides dragons and stuff like that. But super cool. And so I don't know how or why, but this character had a premiere in the comics, in the Conan comics. And I never thought that I would get this issue, but I have Conan the Barbarian, The Coming of Elric, and a sword called Stormbringer.
Okay, so, that's incredible. Now, is this the first appearance of Elric in like a comic form?
Yes. Okay.
Because the books preceded this, right?
Yes. Yeah, the books are from the 60s. And this comic, I don't know the date, but it was 20 cents. So I'll have to look and see when this issue came out. But for Elric fans like me, like, this is a grail. And so he had that book. He had just, my friend Gavin at Tardy's had just acquired a lot of Conan comics. And he's like, are you interested in any of these? And I saw this and I'm like I couldn't talk. And so, yeah, Elric is an awesome character that hopefully will see a resurgence. He's super awesome. I know they try to make a video game. They try to make movies and stuff. But a really cool character. And if the author is still around, he's slowly writing books more than what's his name? Game of Thrones guy.
Yeah, George Martin.
Yeah. Pick up the books if you can, or the comics. They did comics. And so this is my banger. This is it's going on my wall, like behind me.
Quick Google search says Elric first appeared in the Conan the Barbarian issues 14 through 15, which were published between March and May of 1972.
72? So we weren't even
thought of it. I was born in 76.
73. So yeah,
that's right.
I missed it. Yeah. And I think it's Barry Windsor. Barry Windsor Smith, I think, was the artist. But that was one of those things I never thought that I would own. So to see it and to have it and to be able to have a few bucks to be able to get it, I'm grateful. So that's my banger.
Nice. All right, we're going to end on my banger. So
all right, man.
I might have tipped my hand a little bit, because last week I think I messaged you and I said, "Where'd you get that Mythic Legions case that you have like some of your test shots in?" And and so I got a Mythic Legions figure that I need a case, and then I put it on Facebook. I asked the Cabal, where's a good place to get cases. Oh, very cool. Nice. I love that. That's awesome. That fits perfectly.
Yeah, it does. She's got a little stand. So
Nice.
she doesn't rattle.
She doesn't fall over. So I asked the Cabal, I'm like, where do you get good hard cases for Mythic Legions figures that you don't want to open? And the overwhelming response was, you don't, because they're made to be opened and played with.
Sounds like Curtis.
And I get that. They are. They are meant to be opened and popped and swapped. But this one, I cannot bring myself to open.
That's okay.
I can't do it. But I finally got my hands on.
Ta-da! A Halmir. You got yourself a Halmir. That's funny because I was gonna buy you one and present it to you at Legions Con, so now I don't have to. Now you saved me,
dude,
a car payment.
Anybody who thank you so much. I appreciate that.
No
I
problem.
Appreciate that. This guy, he goes for way more than I would ever want to pay.
But he's beautiful. Look at that head sculpt.
Yeah, I think this is the only time they have ever released this particular head sculpt. If I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah, it's super unique.
And I mean, so one of the reasons why it was so difficult to pick this guy up was because you're basically just paying for that head sculpt because everything else is free.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's like those go and the.
But yeah, this anybody who knows me knows that Halmir is my grail figure of all time.
Good for you, bro.
I want to give a very special shout out to my really good friend on the Cabal, Timothy Fung. I know a lot of you guys know him, but he hooked me up with this figure, and he is a saint and an angel. He is amazing. He sent me this nice little note, little note, and it basically says, "Thank you so much for everything. I hope you enjoy Halmir and keep him new in box, lol." Because I told him I wasn't going to open it, and then on the back it's Cabal above all. So that's my banger, and that's why I need the case, because I don't want to open this guy. I want to keep him. I want to keep him as mint in box as possible because he is my all-time
grail. You need a loose one.
Oh, don't start! Don't start.
That's what I do. I started talking. I wanted a loose Grisha because I wanted to keep the Grisha that I have in package. So I'm like, okay, now I got to find a loose one. I see now that Trevor says he's got the Cyberfrog figures, and there's 6 variants of that Heather Swain. Okay, how's the comic? Is the comic pretty good? You have to let me know.
Yeah,
I just thought that the figure looked cool. I'm a big female figure buyer, so I just saw her and I'm like, oh, I'll pick her up.
Yeah, you and I are both looking very much forward to the Frazetta Girls Tigra figure.
Yes,
which I mean, even not even in hand, I think might be like in the figure of the year top 10 category for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
that's right, Trevor.
It is the Grail episode. Yeah, for sure. I've been sitting on that for a week.
Should do that.
I wanted
That's a good idea,
entire
Trevor.
Grail. He says the comic is awesome, amazing artwork.
Yeah. I just realized that I can read the comments now because I clicked over for private chat to comments, and I'm like, oh, there's people talking.
Good. Yeah, I'm glad you can see it.
We should do a Grail episode and ask people, what's your Grails, and let us know in the comments what your Grails are.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
absolutely. Yeah, we could do a whole thing. So, all right. So we've done pickups.
We still got a lot of meat. We got a lot of meat on.
We got a lot of meat. Yeah, we're 30 minutes in, so let's do it. Let's go ahead and get to the unboxing. So today we're going to be doing kind of like a G.I. Joe classified series, kind of an episode now that we've got our pickups out of the way. And we're going to be diving into some G.I. Joe classified series that Greg and I both have kind of had like just kind of sitting around and needed to like get into. So, there was some G.I. Joe news this week, and it kind of spurred us talking about Joes. The was that everybody who backed the Dragonfly received an email earlier in the week saying that the Dragonfly was not going to be released this summer. It's been pushed back to December.
I was really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and I'm all about them making, the best possible vehicle. We saw that Lenny and crew just did an official unboxing of what they consider to be almost a near final Dragonfly, and I thought, well, this must be good news. We must be getting it soon. I thought they're probably going to miss summer because it's quickly dwindling, and maybe we would hit it, maybe get it in September, but they now say it's shipping in December. So that kind of spurred a little bit of conversation this week. So
Yeah,
I backed it. You backed it? Did you just get
Yes.
one, or did you get two, or what?
I got one. I'm looking at my original right now. That's one of the few things that I have of the original series. I found it at a con. Yeah, I'm bummed out, and that could leak over into beginning of new year too. So, I guess as a positive, I can say, I need to make room for that huge monstrosity, gorgeous thing.
Right.
So I will use some time to make some space for it, instead of it sitting in a box. So
Well, the good thing about it being an aircraft is you could always hang it from your ceiling.
I could, yeah.
Joshua says, I'm okay with the delay on the Dragonfly. It gives me more time to
Exactly, Josh.
Still not clear any display space for it. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, what do I got? I've got a Thunder Tank, and I've got the Ramen Racer, and I've got no room. So
when I was at Home Depot looking at my shelves, the shelves that I want to get, I ended up going with like a 12-inch deep shelf. And my wife was like, why don't you go skinnier? And I was like, no, I really need that 12 inches deep, because of vehicles like the Vamp and the His Tank. And
right, are going to fit better.
She's like, are you going to do them every like 7 inches apart? Because most of everything I collect is 6 inches. I was like, no, I got to leave some space for like the His Tank and like some of these, Mythic Legions for their, overscale figures. And so, yeah, got to save some room. So I too am okay with the delay. It does kind of suck. I still haven't opened the His Tank, which we were talking about before the show. It's still sitting in the box over here because I have nowhere to put it.
Right.
But yeah, that was the news. That kind of bummed us out, but that got us talking about Joes. It got us talking about like all the Joes that we have sitting in our floor that we haven't opened yet. And so I think we're going to look at the same wave. You are taking a look at, who are you going to open today?
Airborne.
Okay. He is number what?
115.
Okay. I'm going to open up his wave mate, number 116. I'm going to open up Quick Kick because I loved Quick Kick as a kid.
Yeah, I did too. Airborne was one of my favorites. I didn't have a lot of Joes as a kid. I was kind of like, the neighborhood poor kid that would get like one figure in a toy line. I think I had a Lion-O and I had one Transformer or something. So I would just trade. But one of my friends had got Airborne, and back in the day it was huge. So we would, G.I. Joe was very popular. I feel like hanging from the ceiling. Yeah. I was thinking that too. I'd bump into. I got low ceilings here too, Josh. Although I'm not that tall.
Are you taller than me?
We would bring our figures to school. Yeah, I am a little bit, but not much.
Window box.
I was saying last night
we're back to window boxes.
I know. I love that. I'm so glad. But we would bring our Joes to school and show off. And one of my classmates had Airborne, and he was everything that I liked. He just, the colors
are amazing.
Yeah, and I was just like, and he's kind of a tan guy like me, so I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. So I kind of just associated, and so next time I had a little bit of money and a trip to Toys R Us, that was a figure I looked for and grabbed him. I wish I still had it. Can you a little bit? It's impossible. You can't.
Trying to open candy that you snuck into the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy. But I have tended to eschew a little bit the G.I. Joe figures for the premium stuff, and I need to go back and get, and pay some attention to these because they're great figures. These and Valaverse, they're really, really good figures. I mean, so I shouldn't be a snob when it comes to my figures because these Joes are really well done.
I always say in my reviews, I always say that, for mass market figures, I think G.I. Joes are one of the best values out there because, they're keeping them at $24.99. They're able to do that because they don't have to pay a licensing fee like they do, like Hasbro has to do for like Marvel and Star Wars.
Right.
So they're able to keep the prices down. The storytelling in the figures is amazing. They put all nice little details all over the place that just really bring out details and story aspects of the character. They come with a ton of accessories. They still come with extra heads, extra hands, lots of weapons, and you're keeping it at $25, and that's incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
It looks like Quick Kick here has a really nice, newly developed body for his because of course this is the first Joe we have that's bare chested. So if you look, he's got like these cut-ins for the butterfly joints. Now the butterfly joints, maybe mine are just really stiff, but here, let me show. Like
my guy's knees were stiff, but we worked it out.
You see how like it's cut in on the back, but even though it shows like a lot of movement, it doesn't actually move a whole lot. Maybe they're just really stiff. I have to work them, but I really like this body. Like this is really cool. He does come with 2 extra heads or 1.
Does he really?
Head. Yeah, he has.
Airborne comes with just this one. I like how he's got multiple heads.
That's really cool. Josh says the plastic opening sound is great for the show.
Yeah.
My only real complaint with the new Joe line is I wish they still had the file cards or something.
File cards were a blast, dude. Yeah, we would cut those out and save those.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun.
You know what would be nice? It'd be really nice if this QR code on the side actually went to the G.I. Joe figure and told you all about them. But it just goes to Hasbro Pulse. It just goes to Hasbro Pulse.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I never checked. Never checked.
This is pretty cool. He comes with a red backpack that you can plug into his back.
Matching with this little vest Ninja Star sash thing.
It looks like you can hold all of his equipment, which is all awesome because his backpack has little slits in it for the swords, and then so you can carry those in his backpack. And then, just like Michelangelo, he's got little loops on his belts for the 2 sets of nunchucks that he comes with. So that's pretty dope. And he even comes with 2 other tiny accessories, which is really cool. He comes with this little throwing star thing.
Cool, a little effect.
And then he comes with, I forgot the name. Is it the Fudgy Bar? Because he was always doing the commercials for.
I don't remember that. And
he even comes with a little chocolate bar that's being unwrapped. The new Joe comics look promising. They do. I have seen a few of them in comic book stores. Yeah, they have like a new Duke comic. They have a GI.
Yes, I heard
Cobra Commander specific comic.
I heard they were good. Airborne's got these cool goggles that you can put on his head, which I really like. I like his head sculpt. It's very serious. Slide the babies down. It's fresh. He's got a knife. And I love that they could carry their own, accessories and gear. He's got looks like a little paring knife, little night ops, It's not a big flashy Rambo knife. He's got a knife for doing some work.
If he needs to slice up a lime for some drinks or Cobra.
Could be entertaining. He's got a small pistol. It's not a giant manly, this little pistol's getting some stuff done. Slides into that nice firm holster.
Look at this, boy.
Dude, he's got the moves. Okay, I was trying to figure out what this is. It comes with some covered goggles.
Yes, I believe they talked about that. Lenny mentioned that those were his. Was it like they're like goggle covers? They're like goggles that have like the cover over them to protect them to keep them from getting scratched up.
Yeah. Now, do you think that some like them going this extra is because like to answer Valaverse, like? Maybe, Valaverse is really giving them a run, and so now they're trying to, really up their their
I'm
production
not
and
sure.
their.
I'm not sure.
I guess they've always
think
been good.
I think it's that they really. I think the Joe team really cares about their product, and I think that they really try to like pack it out really nice and give you a lot of value. It could be an answer to it to Valaverse. I don't know. I picked up a couple of Valaverse figures during the pandemic because bigger companies weren't getting products out. Like Hasbro, like GI Joe stuff wasn't coming out very quickly, and I picked up a couple. And they were okay. I think I maybe had 4 or 5, and then I moved them on to somebody else later. I don't have any more anymore.
I don't collect it hardcore. I've got some, but I most of my stuff is my money has gone towards Mythics these days.
Yeah, it's really kind of funny because my local toy group and we chat every day about action figures, and we got into this conversation a couple weeks ago about if you had to stop collecting all lines and you could only focus on one line, what would it be? And for me, it was Mythic Legions.
Mm-hmm.
For my buddy Scott, I believe it was, I think he went Mezco, 1/12 collective. And then my buddy Alberto was like Mondo, because he collects the Mondo He-Man, like 1/6 scale stuff. And I said, it's kind of funny that none of us chose a mainstream company. Like we all chose like these smaller, these smaller companies. And I think
Right.
that is a testament to how well like these other companies are doing, and how they're kind of beating the big boys at their own game.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is just so amazing.
Yeah. I don't know if I got him or not. I'm gonna have to check and see in my boxes. Every collector's got their bins of figures.
Unopened.
I'm gonna look and see. He looks amazing. I know I wanted him. I'm not sure if I got him.
I loved Quick Kick as a kid. He was definitely one of my favorites.
Too. So I have one complaint about this figure. Other than that, he's awesome. But the helmet, I'm not a super fan of. He's got the night goggle things right here, the little.
Right. And they plug in like right there
They plug in, but I don't really want that. So if I take it off, then he's got a giant hole in his helmet. I wonder if I could put the covered goggles over it.
That could work.
Now, if I could do that, then I'm okay. Then I've got no more complaints. Okay, I've got no more complaints.
Look at that.
Never mind. I'm happy.
That's awesome.
Look at his eyes. He's like,
that dude has seen some stuff.
Trevor, give me a bite of that sandwich, man.
Yeah, that'd be a real tough choice between Transformers and GI Joe. Yeah, Joshua, I feel you. I love my Transformers. I never fell off collecting Transformers, so I'm back on Joe with a vengeance. Oh, there's my buddy Randall. There he is.
Randall, what's up, my man?
For those who don't know, Randall is my best friend in the whole entire world, and Greg is also my best friend in the whole entire world.
There's room for both of us, right, Randall?
Yeah, there's enough. I have enough love in my heart for both of you, gentlemen.
But does Randall? That's the question. I hope so. I hope so.
I don't know.
I will not steal Mark from you, Randall. I can share.
So Randall and I are getting ready to go to. Oh, look at that! Always
love it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, here we got a tip here. Joshua says the helmets fit better with the head goggles on backwards underneath.
Okay. Backwards.
Can you elaborate, Joshua? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah. Yeah, because this fits pretty good right here. I'm happy with this. On top there, that looks good. I love the head sculpt on Quick Kick. Does he?
So he's got. Let me see if I lower this. If we can see that. So this one's kind of got like this Bruce Lee kind of like face, and then this one is more. His lips are closed. It's more stoic. but I like it. And
does he come with loose throwing stars? Or
no,
that
just
throwing
just
one?
this little thing here. Hey, he
They would
does
get
come
lost.
he comes with 2 gripping hands, like for guns or nunchucks or swords. He does come with 2 of these karate chopping hands, left and right, and then 2 fists, left and right.
Or
So he comes-
massage. They could be
Yep.
massage giving. You know,
or
if you're married,
saluting.
if you're married, you gotta know
Gotta
the
do that. You got to. Joshua
yeah.
says the figure comes with the helmet and head goggles, but wearing the head goggles backwards underneath makes the helmet sit tighter. Oh, okay. Thank you. There we
Let me
go.
try that.
There we go.
Josh, you are MVP for today. Thank you.
Yeah,
So
coming
let's
in
put
clutch.
his regular gogs on backwards. Yeah, I need to open up my other Joes because they're really great figures. I just, you get caught up. It's like you get something in the mail and you're like, oh, cool. I mean, with you, you've got your review shows, so you're almost forced to open more. But
He said, I believe it was Lenny that mentioned that on a figure review. Nice.
I kind of get mine and yeah, the goggles do kind of. So I have the goggles. I don't know if that's what you meant.
Oh, I
Josh,
like that.
But I have the goggles behind, and it kind of fits perfectly. Almost gives him like a little neck collar thing.
That's dope.
But yeah, I am in love with this figure. And
yeah, he's incredible.
Got a little,
got a little airborne cake going on.
Yeah, look at that. I'm not
That's
one
for
to
that
notice
soft
these
landing.
things, right? Yeah.
If he misjudges,
having some sandwiches while he's in the air.
Yeah. When a wave comes out, I will get the whole wave. For the most part, I do cherry pick, but if you were to ask my wife, I don't cherry pick enough. But I would say that for the most part, I buy an entire wave when it comes out. And yeah, because of the channel and because of doing reviews, and honestly, doing G.I. Joe speculation and G.I. Joe reviews is really what put my channel, on the map at the very beginning. A lot of people, especially during the Dragonfly HasLab campaign, I was doing a lot of speculation on the figures that were going to be released, and like I gained like 1,000 subscribers.
Wow!
Almost within a week because of all of that stuff. And so G.I. Joe is very near and dear to my heart, but because of the way my channel is set up and how I do Mythic Legions reviews on Monday, and I do basically one review on Wednesday, and then I do something small on Friday, which, by the way, I apologize for everybody. I didn't do a review yesterday. I was going to, but I had a doctor's appointment in the morning. We had lunch. Kids were over playing. Like, it was a busy day, so I didn't get to do a tiny review yesterday over in my little tiny review space. So I apologize, but now doing this show, like I can always like throw an extra review in there, like these little openings, and so I can get
for sure.
And look at here. And you didn't lose those subs. No, I didn't. You're right. I didn't. Was it Randall says, man, I was waiting for that review all day.
I was too, man.
I was too. All right. So do you have any other thoughts on Airborne or anything that you want to share before we move on to our deep dive?
No, I agree with Josh though, about the backpack. I was trying to stand him up while you were talking, and he kept falling backwards. So I took off the backpack, and he's much better, much more stable.
I do this. So every single one of my Joes, regardless of how well they stand on their own, I use these little guys.
Mm-hmm.
You can get them on Amazon. It's like a pack of 100. They're like $60 or something like that for a pack of 100, and they fit perfectly. And I use these every one of my Joes is on one of these.
Yeah,
for sure.
Can't go wrong.
So, all right, we're going to move on. We're still keeping it G.I. Joe today, but we're going to go on to Double Down. So yeah, we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it GI Joe, and since we did some GI Joe, if you guys haven't noticed, we try to keep it thematic. Like if
Yes.
we try to like focus on one subject each week if we can. If it works out, Greg and I are not professionals. We we're like, hey, what are we unboxing this week? What are we
Yeah.
talking?
Yeah. We'll shoot each
But
other a
we try to
text. Like, yeah, what sounds good? What do you got? What'd you get?
yeah. So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to double down on the GI Joe classified line. And what we want to talk about is we thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about our top 3 most wanted GI Joes in the GI Joe classified line that haven't been produced yet. Some of these might have already been announced, but they haven't been released yet, or they haven't been like, I'll give you an example. My favorite all-time GI Joe is Alpine. I didn't put him on my list because they've already announced him. They've even already showed off like his we've even got the figure. We've already pre-ordered him. He's already up for pre-order.
Yeah.
So
about a month ago.
so I didn't put him on my list because he's being produced, but I'll show you how much I love Alpine. I love Alpine so much that this guy has been on my shelf for about 2 years. This is my custom Alpine.
That's pretty sweet, dude.
If you've ever ordered anything from Gridiron Studios, these guys are amazing. They make some of the best. Like, if Gridiron Studios said they're going to start making action figures, it wouldn't surprise me, and B, I would buy everything they make, because these are not your average, ordinary 3D printed parts and pieces. These things look like they are actual molded parts.
That
like
backpack and the twine.
Yeah, the knife comes out. You've got an actual working grappling hook that rotate, like this thing actually rotates. You could use that. It came with this real rope. It came with the pickaxe. It came with the helmet, the goggles, the extra thing for his rifle. This pistol comes out and is working. And so all I had to do was buy an extra stalker body and then paint the pants brown. So that's how much I love Alpine. Is this guy's been on my shelf for about 2 years because I was like, I don't know when they're going to get around to Alpine. And so yeah, so that's why he's not going to be on my list today, because we've already.
Can I just say something back to that figure that you just pulled up? I don't know if it was being a kid of the 80s. I don't know if it was just being a boy, adventure and all that, but grappling hooks was always a seller for me. Like, right? Are we brothers? Right?
100%.
If the figure had a grappling hook, I was so ecstatic. Like, I don't know what it was, a grappling gun. He came with the hook. He's got a string, any kind of action feature like that. Yeah. And I know didn't you pick up something while you were at one of the cons, the zip line thing? Like, I've always been a sucker like that. Inhumanoids figure was my favorite. He had a grappling hook for an arm, and I was just like, okay, I'm happy. I don't need anything else. The snow speeder that had the grappling gun, just love that stuff. What you got?
100%. Any action figure that had a rope or a grappling hook, Batman's utility belt that would pull out and you'd let go and it would pop back in, Alpine, Hit and Run. Like any of those. So yes, while I was at Joe Fest, there was this company. They don't have a name. I'm sorry. The guys selling this, they were actual, like, I think they were like firemen, field medics. So they would show you they were volunteer firemen, I believe. And they would also show you how to dress wounds on the battlefield. Like, for real, like, no joke. They had like a dummy laying there that had bullet hole wounds, and they would show you how to quickly dress it and stop make a tourniquet. But they were also selling these little things. So this is all machine tooled metal and rubber grips. And so this is a sky, like a sky hook, like they would slot. I'm sorry, what's
like a zip line?
A zip line, yeah. And so it's a long piece of rope. It's got a little piece of Velcro around it, and then it's got a little metal hook on.
You need to set that up in your room, dude.
I do. I have it set up really high on one of my shelves, and then like they had Tomax and Zaymot hanging from it, and it's like all metal. It's really hefty.
That's genius.
And the guy, and they were selling it. It was $10, and I bought this because I said, I was like, when I was a kid, if anything came with like a grappling hook or a zip line, I bought it. That hooked me. Like anytime.
Yes, anytime. Even if it's molded on the figure, I'm in love with it. If it's got a grappling hook, I'm all there. A utility belt or some kind of bandolier.
I remember being like 10 or 11 and asking my parents for like a real like grappling hook, like when I was a kid, because
I tried to make them. Yeah, I
wanted to climb walls, but I was a fat kid. Like I wasn't climbing no walls, seriously.
Yeah,
but
I had the Spider-Man. Right. I had a Spider-Man utility belt. This is like from the late 70s, and it barely fit around my chunky waist, but it had a little. I would love to find it again. It had a little. Stay tuned, Josh. Stay tuned. It had a little walkie-talkie, and he had handcuffs, and I would have a rope, and it was tied to like a rafter, and I would just swing my fat butt across, thinking I was Spider-Man. But yeah, any kind of rope or grappling thing, I was.
Do you remember that toy line called Sky Commanders?
Yes.
Where you would just like, they had like neon green ropes and neon orange ropes, and you could
I don't know
string them up.
I don't know why
I had those. I loved them.
Yeah, we were mad for that stuff. Any kind of like swinging feature, Luke swinging across in the Death Star.
Indiana Jones whip. Like I wanted an Indiana Jones whip, like where I could swing across crevasse. If I ever came across.
My grandpa we had a farm, and my grandpa, he had a radiator belt. And so, dude, and I wrapped it around my own head, and I'm like, okay, I'm done playing for the day,
Slap yourself in the face with it. I'm done.
Yeah. It was a radiator belt that had broke. And so it was about 6 feet long. And I thought I was Indiana Jones. I was trying to latch onto my sister's 100%. Leg and chirp her up.
We are definitely brothers, man, for sure. So I have this set up, and man, I love I'll put them on and let them slide across my room.
Do they have a website or an email?
They don't. I don't. Even the thing that I bought it in, it didn't even have
basic.
Like it just had it was a Ziploc bag, and it had a sticker on it that said 6-inch action figure zip line. That was it.
Yeah. If you ever see another one, grab me one.
Yeah,
I would love that,
dude. Yeah, that thing is incredible. But let's do it. Let's do a deep dive. We're gonna get right into it, and I'm gonna let Greg kick us off here because he has the very first figure that he wants released. So let's talk about it.
I love the cartoon. Don't get me wrong, but I think my first love for G.I. Joe was the comics, and I was, like I said before, yes, absolutely, Josh, man, a good stick, and I was having some adventures out there. But the comic, to me, it was accessible. The comic was about 50 or 60 cents back then. I would forego my lunch and go buy a comic at my local 7-Eleven, and most of the time it was G.I. Joe, maybe ROM, maybe Secret Wars or something. That ages me. That tells you how old I am. But G.I. Joe comic was just written by Larry Hama, and written and drawn, and just fantastic stuff. I mean, the guy created, Snake Eyes, so he's Lord to me. But I always thought this character Quinn was a cool dude. He's kind of like a mercenary, kind of ambiguous in the comics. He was a bad guy to start, that whole age-old trope where he's a bad guy and there's misunderstandings, and then he turns around and becomes a good guy kind of thing. But I don't know. I just thought he was a cool character. Not really sure why. They produced him in Retaliation, that G.I. Joe Retaliation, or one of the movies or something. They had him in, and that was kind of the last iteration of him. He's usually wearing shorts, which is, my California native kind of thing. Right. I just thought he was cool. He's in the issue number 2 of G.I. Joe. He's in this, Eskimo get up thing, but a lot of times he was kind of safari dressed. But I just thought he was a cool character, And,
clearly Super 7 did too, because they put him out. I remember he was like either in the first or second wave of like their G.I. Joe.
Yeah. but
I
I'm
could
not
be
sure.
wrong. And maybe it wasn't that early on in the reaction line. Maybe it could have been later, but
It was
I
it
remember them
was
making him.
yeah, it's one or two waves, and I haven't grabbed him in reaction. I need to, but and I'm not sure if it's they're trying to be sensitive by not. I don't know what the reason for it them not having. Maybe one of you guys in the chat knows why they didn't or why they haven't made him yet. And maybe they'll get to him eventually. I don't know.
Maybe he's just like a pretty obscure character, but I will tell you, I mean, they're not opposed to Hasbro is not opposed to sticking very obscure characters, in like vehicle packs. If you look at Wreckage, who's coming with the Tiger Stripe ferret, like I don't know who that guy is. I had to look him up for the video, like I didn't know who he was. So yeah, I would love it if they would like pack this guy in with like a vehicle or something, maybe a snowcat or something.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be pretty dope.
So
Quinn is your first choice. My first choice is going to be Airtight. So
there you go, Josh.
Josh kind of jumped the gun on us. He was like, Airtight. Yeah, I want Airtight so bad. I love this character. He's one of my favorites.
Fun figure.
I love the colors, the green and the bright yellow. I know he's going to be on their list. I know they're going to make him at some point.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt. But I love his crazy gun that looks like a vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that like a dust buster attachment on the end?
Who knows what he sucks up bad air.
The crevices of the couch. What is that? I never analyzed it as a kid. I just thought that figure's badass.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's so many figures I could have put on this list, but these are like my top 3 figures. There's a lot that I could have put on here, but Airtight. Everybody had him. Everybody loved him.
That was the first figure that I bought myself.
With your own money?
Yeah. I had done some chores or something and had like $4. So I'm like, I'm getting a G.I. Joe, and that was the one that I had grabbed. And because the yellow just caught my eye.
Like, I love his backpack that's got like the little jets or like the little fans on it. And I know when they give us this figure, they are going to make his helmet removable, so we'll get to see what his face looks like. Or maybe they've done that already and I just don't know. Like in another version, maybe there's a version of Airtight without his mask on. But the rescue assistant, same here. Just stay tuned to my list.
I agree. I thought Doc was always one of the coolest.
Yeah, he's hitting Walmarts right now. I keep checking my Walmart to see if he hits before.
I have him in the Super 7. Or has that come out yet? Maybe I don't have him yet. Or no, I do. Yeah, he's available for Super 7, but he's not out
in
yet.
Their reaction. You mean in their Ultimates or their reaction?
Ultimates, yeah.
He looks good.
Do you have any of the Ultimate?
So I bought the very first Super 7 San Diego Comic-Con, the blue bat, the year it came out. It was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. I got it from their website, or maybe I got it from Big Bad Toaster. I can't remember where I got it from, because I was like, that was the first one that was coming out and I wanted to get my hands on it and see how it was. And I got it, and I don't think I ever opened it, and I never like messed around with it for whatever reason. And then I ended up selling it on eBay. And then a buddy of mine in town, shout out to Scott, he found, this is funny. He's like, I'm accidentally spoiling. Yeah, you are.
You're fine, dude. We appreciate it.
No, it's like we're connecting. Like Josh and I have been best friends, like growing up, like playing G.I. Joes. So my buddy Scott found, like, I think it was one of the Walmarts was selling the G.I. Joe Ultimates, and he bought, I think, Snake Eyes, and it had been marked down to like $20 or something like that. And then he was like, I hate this figure. I don't want it. Like, do you want to buy it?
He didn't like it?
So I bought it from him, and I messed around with it and played around with it. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. I dig this. But then I also kind of moved it on because I didn't have any others, but I am going to get 2 of their Ultimates. I'm going to get Zartan, because Zartan's my favorite G.I. Joe figure of all time. And then I'm going to get the new Snake Eyes Storm Shadow that was just leaked. It's probably a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but it's the good guy Storm Shadow. So Storm Shadow with like the gray Tetris bricks.
Yeah.
It's just a repaint of their other Storm Shadow. Yeah, it's a repaint of that. Like he doesn't have the hood
Yeah.
and he doesn't have. It's literally just a repaint.
Yeah.
But
I have
I'm
the regular.
definitely
I
gonna
need
pick
to
that up.
open it. Maybe on the show I'll open the
Yeah, do
regular
that.
one.
Do that. Do
for
that.
future reference.
Speaking of Super 7 and G.I. Joe Ultimates, I'll give you guys another scoop. I wish I had.
Yeah, we need to do a scoop.
I need a little
graphic.
scoop graphic, but I connected with Brian Flynn at Joe Fest. The Super 7 booth was there. Brian was there, and I chatted him up. Now, Greg has met him a couple of times at a couple of different cons, and I chatted him up, and I asked him if he would come on the show, and he said absolutely. He gave me his email, and we've been in contact. And so sometime after San Diego Comic-Con, probably sometime in August, Brian Flynn's going to be on the show, and Greg and I are going to chat him up. We're going to talk to him about toys.
Super excited. Super
I
excited.
am too. He is literally, he's a legend
Really
for me.
nice guy.
He's making my childhood all over again. I thought you were about to announce Scoop. That's right.
Is there a joke called Scoop?
I don't know. Maybe there is. All right, so let's move on to your second one, and that's going to be
Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes is my all-time. He's one of my favorite characters in any toy line. And maybe it goes back to the Boba Fett thing. Boba Fett was like a man of mystery. We didn't know who he was, and I loved that kind of mystery. And I think Snake Eyes was kind of like that same, kind of mysterious. He didn't talk really, and you didn't really see his face. You didn't really know a lot about him. And like I said, I was heavy with the comics as a kid because it was kind of like a way for us at school to connect. If one of us had the new, G.I. Joe comic or whatever, we'd bring it to school and we would share and look at it, hey, let me borrow that, through recess, and I'll give it back to you. And we would share and stuff and just conversate. So Snake Eyes became, my favorite. I still love the Commando version of the Snake Eyes. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. But yeah, I wish they would do a version, and it doesn't have to be exactly like this, but kind of like the hat with either goggles or just a shadow or something, just a kind of mysterious maybe a limited edition figure. But I would go crazy for that, dude.
This would make a good San Diego Comic-Con exclusive.
Absolutely.
They could do the sunglasses molded to his face so that they never come off and you never see his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure the body could be like your standard, green buck.
It'd be easy to do, dude.
This would be an easy repaint, like throw together, and it would make a great exclusive because it's not one that you have to have. It'd be great to have it, but it's not like one that you have to like complete the line or anything.
Right.
This is really cool because when Joshua said, I thought you were about to announce Scoop, I actually just Googled it. There was a G.I. Joe called Scoop. It came out in 1989. He's green and yellow. He has red goggles. And he came with this big, like, it looks like a camera, video camera, radar dish.
Yeah. I remember him.
And he was the combat information specialist.
Yeah. I forgot about him. I remember him.
Yeah. So it says it was common practice for Hasbro to name and sculpt G.I. Joe characters after real life individuals. For Scoop, NBC television news reporter Mike Leonard was used for the model of the figure. The character Scoop was even given the real life name Leonard Michaels to go for Mike Leonard.
That's
I
cool.
did not know that, but I don't remember this character, but I remember that accessory, his gun that looks like it's like not a gun, it's like a camera with a microphone on it and everything.
But almost kind of like a cannon almost. It's kind of like
it's so he was like the news journal, like an embedded news journalist.
I remember seeing the figure. Deep dive,
absolutely.
Josh. That's a deep dive.
Yeah, man, that dude, he knows his stuff. All right, so my second one for me is going to be Hit and Run. Man, I love this guy as a kid. Again, what were we talking about? Grappling hooks. Like this guy had this backpack, this little duffel bag that had a rope, and you could pull the rope out of it and you could climb. This guy went on so many missions with like Alpine for me. And I'll tell you a funny little story. I have like total Mandela effect with this figure because I swore my whole life that this duffel bag and grappling hook came with Alpine. Like I just knew, like my whole life, I was like, yes, this guy, that duffel bag. I would even tell people, I was like, you remember Alpine? He was the mountain climber, had that duffel bag. And I was telling my buddy Jason, who knows so much about G.I. Joe. He knows his stuff inside and out. And he was like, yeah, he didn't come with a, he's like, Alpine didn't come with that. He goes, that was hit and run.
Sorry.
Like, are you sure? And he
wrong.
goes, yeah. He's like, don't question me, for sure. And I went and looked it up, and sure enough, it was hit and run. 100%. I love this guy so much. He is so awesome. Like, I can't wait to have him because I need him going on missions with Alpine.
Absolutely.
Again, grappling hooks, man. Anything.
And I don't remember that figure at all, dude. I do not remember him.
I love that even his face was like camo painted, and he had the bright red goggles. It was like a little pop of red. All right, so let's end on your big one, your last one that you're really hoping it gets made here.
The
Hooded Cobra Commander.
And everyone's talked about it and said they probably never will, and I get it, like maybe a hooded thing. I think it's a toy, and it shouldn't be that, it shouldn't bleed into real world things, like us fans are not thinking, or we're not associating anything hooded with Cobra Commander. Like I don't, and no one I know I think would either. We would just be stoked. Yeah. Be stoked to have a hooded Cobra Commander. Unfortunately,
I bought this hood already painted from a seller on eBay, and I have this guy on my shelf with that Regal.
Does he stick on there pretty good, or is he? Yeah.
I think I've got some blue tack in there. But I actually bought 2 of the new Cobra Commander on the retro card, so that when it comes out, I can get a different one of these heads and put on there, so it's on his old body and not the Regal body.
I thought it was a cool, like you get to see a little bit more of Cobra Commander, who was such a mystery, just like Snake Eyes.
Yeah, when that helmet got hot, when it got sweaty.
You steam it up. Maybe he had some broccoli for lunch, and it was getting funky in there, and wanted to throw some lips on Baroness or something. Who knows, man? Yeah.
This is what he puts on when he eats. He just lifts up and
lifts up and slurps his soup, and
I understand Hasbro's stance on this. I get it, like 100%. But I have never in my life ever associated Cobra Commander with like any kind of real life hate group. And I get it, but I really just don't think any Joe fans make this connection. I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think there'd be a controversy if they released it. I really don't. I don't think there would be. But I get them being safe. The lawyers that they have are probably trying to protect them from any kind of backlash, but I don't think that there would be. But
well, I mean, at the end of the day, they still are making toys for kids with guns,
right?
So if we can make that leap, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wish they would make it as well, but there's enough nice third-party heads out there that you can get painted, unpainted, and you can make your own. You shouldn't have to, but you can.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I agree. I wish they'd make this guy. And my last one is Lifeline. He was always one of my favorites. I love this guy. He was right there with Doc saving the Joes, but I loved his colors, the bright red, the white, all the gear he came with. And look at that.
Cool.
He's even got a pistol. Like, he's like, you know what? Like, I'll shoot you and then I'll fix you.
Yes, exactly. I'll wound you. I'm going to wound you.
But I'm going to patch you up when I'm finished.
Yeah, but he's got the cool shades. He's in that action pose. Just super cool, man. I love the exploding art. Whenever I see that, I'm like, I have to, like, I love that exploding. I don't know the name of the artist that did those. I was just looking at his paintings, but I just love that, man. Love it.
Yeah. Joshua says Lifeline should be soon. He'd be a minor retool of Doc. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
I'm surprised he was not in the Dragonfly. Didn't they have a medic for that one of the releases for the Dragonfly? I thought, or maybe not. Maybe they were talking about it.
Yeah, I know we're getting Wild Bill. We're getting Glinda in her aviator like thing, and then we're getting Crazy Legs. But it's It's like the Night Force Crazy Legs. Is that
I
right?
didn't know who Crazy Legs was. I never heard of him.
Oh yeah, he's like airborne. He was like a paratrooper. But he the original figure is red and tan. He's bright red and tan. And so still waiting for that one. Oh, Joshua
That's
says,
right.
I think the medic
Yeah,
was with the
I think you're
Tomahawk.
right. Yeah, I think you're right. I would love a Tomahawk too, but they probably wouldn't. I mean, maybe down the road, you know, they've got the Dragonfly, but the Tomahawk could probably be 2 or 3 times as big. So,
Yeah.
probably not.
So
well,
that brings us to, so we've talked about the GI Joes that we would love to see in the GI Joe line that have not been made yet. What were your top 3 GI Joes as a kid? Like if you were going out to play, you scooped up 3 and you were running outside. What were your 3 that you would grab?
Snake Eyes for sure. I love Duke and General Hawk, Cobra Commander. So I would say I was usually I would say top 3 would be Snake Eyes. I love the Commando, but the second version had the better swivels and articulation and stuff. So I got that one with the visor and Timber. And I loved Firefly. I thought Firefly was just a fabulous figure. I love the gray camo. And so he would kind of go between good guy and bad guy. And when I would take him outside and play. So Snake Eyes, Dragonfly, and I would probably say Duke was or Flint. I thought Flint was cool.
Flint
he was kind
awesome.
of later in the line.
Yeah,
but
I always liked Flint more than Duke when I was.
Yeah, I did too. Duke was cool, and then Flint came, and I'm like, okay, Flint is more badass than Duke. So and then General Hawk came, and I'm like, okay, this guy is pretty damn cool too. So
yeah,
those 3 guys, I liked them a lot. So, but I would say Flint probably was my top tier figures that I would take outside. How about you?
So my top 3 Joes that I would grab would have to be Tunnel Rat, Alpine, and Outback. That was my squad. I rolled deep with those 3. Like they always went outside for me. Those were my favorites. Now my favorite Cobra figures would have been Zartan for sure. Copperhead. I loved Copperhead. Still do. Like
he came with the water moccasin.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking of, yeah, that was a nice.
That's it.
I like the colors.
I love that guy.
Yeah.
And then Storm Shadow. I mean, he was.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Storm Shadow.
Those were the. So if I had to grab 6, like 3 Joes to battle 3 Cobra, that was what I would take.
And Storm Shadow came with so much good stuff too. He had like the bow, he had the swords. You know, the guy had some armaments. Yeah. That reminds me. So why do you think that they didn't come out with the Zartan? Has Zartan come out yet for the classified or not yet?
Oh man, 4 or 5 times.
How come they
just keep releasing him? So they did the first Zartan was like the regular release. They did a regular release Zartan that was kind of like an updated Zartan, and then they did a second Zartan that was like a, I don't remember if it was a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, but it was called the Master of Disguise Zartan. So he came in like in the deluxe package and it had a wheel on the cutout that you could on the package and you could spin it and his face would change on the art. And then he came with a bunch of different masks. And then they even put out another, like a third version.
Never had the
No, not one with the chameleon.
Dude.
Yeah, he needs that. His swamp
needs that thing, man.
Yeah, and then they put out another one that's retro carded that actually looks more like the original figure. So I have all 3 of them because he's my favorite. But I think it was because at the time Zartan was a very popular character. They had to get him into the line. They had to make sure he was there, but they weren't yet making vehicles. Like this was way before they made any vehicles or even thought about making vehicles.
Oh, okay. I see.
And so
maybe
he wasn't
down the road.
I would love for them to make one. Now I actually have a 3D printed one that I bought that's 6-inch scale. So on my shelf, I have
I need to.
I have one.
I saw one. Did you paint it?
Yeah, because it was gray. All the pieces were gray, and I had to paint it up. And then yeah, I know, right? But yeah, I would love for them to make an official Zartan on the chameleon swamp skiff. But I think at this point, people would be like, okay, really? Like this is literally what the 4th time you've released Zartan? Like seriously? But I don't care. I would buy Zartan again to get that swamp skiff. I would totally do it. Like 100%.
I don't have any of them, so it would be perfect for me.
Right. So that brings us to our last thing about G.I. Joe that we're going to talk about, and that is San Diego Comic-Con is coming up, and we know that the Classified series, G.I. Joe Classified, is going to have another HasLab that is going to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con. Now, it seems like the going consensus is that it's going to be the Cobra Rattler. They seem to be going Cobra, G.I. Joe, Cobra. So they're thinking it's going to be a Cobra Rattler. So that seems to be the going consensus. But while that would be great, I would love to see that because I love Wild Weasel, who is the the pilot.
Yes,
I love that.
We are brothers, man. Absolutely. I never had it.
I never had the Rattler, but I did get Wild Weasel. I think I traded one of my friends for it.
Best friend
I had the figure, but I never had the vehicle itself.
Yeah, no, if that is HasLab, I would buy it immediately. I still want the Sky Striker. I don't have that yet.
Oh yeah, right. For the 3 3/4 inch, that would be massive for the 6-inch scale. But I wanted to ask you, and we'll also ask the chat here, if it's not the Rattler, okay? If it's not the Rattler, what would you guys want it to be? Like what would be a vehicle that you would love if it's not the Rattler? And let's see here. So we have, as far as vehicles go, we have the Vamp, which is a G.I. Joe vehicle. They just announced the Stinger. So we've got 1-to-1. So then we've got the Cobra Ferret, and we've got the Tiger Force Ferret. We have the Ram Cycle. We have the Tiger Force Ram Cycle. We have his tank.
I need that Ram Cycle.
And then we have the Dragonfly. So we've got 5 Joe vehicles and 3 Cobra vehicles. Is that correct?
The Trouble Bubble.
Oh, you're right. That's a Cobra vehicle. There's actually been 2 versions of that Trouble Bubble come out, right? There's 2 different colorways. Right. So yeah, we have a good amount. We have almost an equal amount. So would you want it to be another Joe vehicle, or would you want it to be a Cobra vehicle? And what would you like? Okay,
so either or. I can't remember the name. It was like a smaller air flying vehicle for the Joes. It was like Skyhopper or something.
Skyhawk?
Skyhawk, yes.
Yep.
It was kind of for poorer kids. It was like a nice size, not too big, not too expensive, basic, flying vehicle. I never had it. I always wanted it. So, and I think somebody has done a 3D print of it.
Yep.
And I was
I've seen those.
I would like that. So that would be probably that, or the what was the Dreadnoks truck that was kind of
Thunder Machine?
I don't remember. I had it. That was probably the last G.I. Joe figure or toy I bought as a kid, and I thought it was just the coolest. Thunder Machine. It was like I was a huge Mad Max Road Warrior fan.
Yeah, so that Mad Max for sure.
Road Warrior for me, it was like a mishmash of different vehicles and stuff.
Have you seen the G.I. Joe Retro Collection Transformers crossover with the Thunder Machine? It turns into Soundwave.
Yeah, I almost bought it and I did not.
I need to get that.
But yeah, I just thought that was a cool truck. So either one of those I would take. But if it's a Rattler, I always wanted it, never had it. Would love to have it. So any of those, and they've got my money.
I'm having a hard time thinking of vehicles that would be absolutely massive.
I know. That's why I thought the Skyhawk would be cool, because yes, it's going to be big, but it's not going to be a massive. You have
to know that Skyhawk's coming. It's a good. I mean, it would not be any larger than, like, say, the Vamp. So I got to think that that's coming at some point.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be a HasLab, I guess. It would be just a basic,
All right, so I'm going to go, if it's not the Rattler, if it's a Cobra vehicle, I'm going to go with another re-release, and I want Copperhead and the Water Moccasin. I want that because I love Copperhead. I got a swimming pool.
Good choice, Josh. Yeah, that would be fun, dude. That would be fun. I don't know if I mentioned that I had the best friend, and he had all the water vehicles, but didn't want to put them in the pool. And I'm like, come on, man, you got the the big hovercraft. You got
Right,
water
yeah.
moccasins. You've got all
G.I.
these
Joe had
boats.
that little orange boat called the Devilfish, which I loved. I have one of those, and I have put it in my pool.
Yeah, you got
48,
to.
and I've put it in my. So if it was a Joe vehicle, I have to say that I would like the Snowcat
Yes, the
would be
snowcat would be awesome.
nice, and it can either come with Frostbite or Iceberg. I wouldn't care. I think did Frostbite come with that figure as a kid? Let me look it
think
up.
so. Josh would know probably. Josh just says the X-30 Conquest. I thought that airplane was badass. I thought that was super cool. I never had it. I never had any of those, but I always thought it was super cool. So yeah, I agree with you, Josh. That would be an awesome. That would have to be the 3 3/4 though. I think a classified would be.
Yeah, the Snowcat did come with Frostbite. So yeah, I would like the Snowcat, and I would like Frostbite. And then down the road, I do want Iceberg and his little snow canoe that he came with. Do you remember him? Iceberg was African American soldier. He was all in snow gear, and he came with a canoe. He came with like a little white.
No,
boat.
I don't think I remember that one. I kind of fell off the Joes in the late 80s. I was into I think I was just reading books and going to movies and stuff. I think I kind of stopped collecting for a while.
Yeah.
So I had missed, and I think I came back around X-Men and Spider-Man in the late, the early 90s, 92, 91, 92 in that area.
That stuff was starting to take over.
No, those were later, weren't they? When did Spider-Man come out? 2001, 2002?
You mean the movie?
Yeah.
The cartoon.
The movie.
Oh yeah, that was like 2001.
Yeah, so I took
because if you remember the very first teaser trailer for the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, they shot that teaser trailer. It was never in the movie, and it was like a bank robbery. It was these bank robber. I
just saw that yesterday. Did you see that yesterday? I just saw that yesterday.
And then
I had no idea.
The helicopter was strung up between the two towers.
That was very cool.
Yeah, and then 9/11 happened, and then they pulled that from theaters, and they didn't run it anymore.
Yeah, I'd never seen that before, and it had popped up in a YouTube video that I just happened to see yesterday. I was like, oh wow, I never knew that.
Dude, this was a killer episode. We went super long. We went an hour and a half, which was great. But we had a lot to talk about. We had lots to talk about. It was a really good episode.
Josh, for sticking in there. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And Randall and
people watching playback, we appreciate you. Thank you for
Trevor. Terrence must have made it to work. And
Sweet.
Then who else did we have? We had V-Dog.
Yeah, let us know in the comments too what you guys are hoping for HasLab and favorite Joes and stuff. I'd love to read it. We do look at our comments and comment back. So
absolutely
appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We super appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the all of the
Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It always is. And this is always a highlight for me and Greg to sit down, whether it's pre-recorded or live, which we always want to do live as much as possible. We love sitting down and talking toys. So thank you guys for tuning in and joining us. Please be sure to check out Greg over at his channel, New to Mythics. You really got to be watching this show. He has on so many great guests each week, and they're always talking about their stories about how they got into Mythic Legions. It's just, even if you're not in the Mythics, they talk about so much because everybody has very similar but also very different stories about what they collected, how they got into collecting, how they found their way to
their toy journey.
Yeah, everybody's got a toy journey, and it's really cool to just listen. I listen to it every week.
It's fun.
It's so good. So definitely check out Greg's channel, New to Mythics. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys in the toy aisles.
Thank you guys.